Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Greg.
I'm Ben.
And today, we're drinking bourbon. All right, Ben, we've had like a special local club picked bottle barrel of this, and
I don't understand the words you just said.
now we're trying the basic, just to
Okay.
compare. So let's
We've never
bring it
done
on
this
in.
one before. Let's do it. This is Bam Stellum Bourbon. Okay, so this one
Okay.
is new to us in the sense that, like you said before, we've had the store pick of one of these, but we've never just had the original, the regular Stellum bourbon.
So I picked this bottle up, and then I honestly didn't know this at the time. This is cast strength. I mean, we're still at 100 and whatever it is,
15?
115-ish.
Okay.
It's actually 114.98.
Okay.
If-
They must be into the 9/8 because this one is 100. Oh no, this is 118.48. Never mind. We'll bring that one in later.
Okay.
But this is the sort of more affordable offering from Barrel Craft Spirits. So Barrel Craft Spirits do a ton of like blending and these interesting kind of weird bourbons that are all really good as far as we've had.
Yeah, and sometimes they do some finishing on it, almost some like flavoring type stuff with some of the rum cask and other
Apricot
things.
brandy
Yeah,
cask and
exactly.
like really interesting stuff, but most of them run about 90 to 100.
Yeah, that's
and
the
even
thing.
some of their premium stuff is even more than that.
And we've had several, and they're freaking awesome.
Yeah, they're freaking awesome.
I think so.
Not freaking amazing.
However, they are expensive. So they came out with a budget line that's not that budget. It's still in the $60, $65 range.
Right, but certainly much more affordable than that. So this is the basic Stellum blue label. They do have a black label, and I think that's extra aged, but this is the regular Stellum offering. So
this one does say it's from Indiana, Kentucky, and Tennessee. So they're blending from multiple distilleries in this case.
Interesting.
So it definitely can't be a bottle and bond or anything like that.
I thought it was just MGP.
Yeah, well, so somebody in
Nice nose on
Tennessee
it.
is also selling them stuff, and somebody in Kentucky.
Caramels, wood sugars, a little vanilla.
I was actually going to say more of the orange fruit kind of note, a little bit citrusy.
Yeah, I can see that.
Maybe acidic.
It's kind of riding on top of there a little bit. Maybe there's some high rise stuff in here that brings that orange citrus note. Let's get into the taste here.
Let us be participating.
Cheers.
So that's super dry.
Interesting.
Wood tannin on the finish is so prominent,
Very much so. Yeah, I agree with you. It's very dry.
but it's got underneath that, or kind of beside that, maybe strapped in beside them, is a great brown sugar note that stays through from the start to the mid to the finish to the post finish. We're going to call that the finish. This is good.
There is a serious like peppery oak bite on the back end of it as well.
Wow.
I'm with you on the brown sugar. Some of that orange, like kind of citrus, but it's almost like a dark orange. Well, kind of like, when you do like a high rye or a rye whiskey and you get those like orange rind citrus notes. It has a little bit of that, and I think there's like a darkness where it's like you have that citrus note, but it's kind of wrapped around in that like barrel spice and brown sugar and kind of darker caramel notes. It's a rich, deep whiskey for sure.
It is. I have no idea what the actually I do. Stand by.
What are you looking for here?
I thought there was a mash bill on this, but it was actually a different bottle, not this one.
Well,
Unfortunately, I can't share the mash bill.
yeah, that's,
I feel like it is a higher rye percentage.
yeah, it seems like it for sure.
Definitely bourbon, but It's like a spicy vanilla.
It's almost like a spicy everything. I feel like every sip I've taken, I've gotten something a little different off it. This is really good.
It's in the freaking awesome category.
Yeah, I'm very impressed.
Yes.
115 proof, $60, totally worth it.
Mm-hmm.
It has the MGP vibes to it. I know you said it's blended from 3 different distilleries or 3 different sources.
Well, 3 different states, and so we're assuming it's distilleries in Tennessee and Kentucky as well as MGP.
I am confident that if you just handed me this and had me nose it, I would assume it's probably MGP.
Yeah.
Because it has a very distinct
I think so.
MGP note to it that I happen to love.
Yeah, totally.
It's really good. Yeah, there's something like... You've brought up like a black tea note before.
Lipton iced tea, but I'm not necessarily getting that on this one that I noticed.
Well, it's interesting because I've never had Lipton black tea before, but I'm getting something like this dark, almost kind of leaning into a tea flavor, and I'm wondering if that's why I brought it up to you.
It's not out of place. To be honest, sweet tea, with obviously the sugar, providing the sugar element, because it's not obscenely sweet, but it is definitely sweet.
I feel like this is just a great balance of a ton of different stuff.
Tons of good spice, tons of good sweetness.
Yeah.
The caramel it's there, but it's not super prominent. I might go back to that spicy vanilla. Don't know exactly what that is, but it's like, yeah, the vanilla is really turned up on the finish. And then the wood tannins at the end are very prominent in a good way.
I'm getting the vanilla more on the back side of it.
Yes,
but it's definitely there for sure. And I agree with you. It's like a spicy, almost dark vanilla. Do you remember when we did that wild turkey spiced, and it was supposed to be like this island spiced,
right?
And we got these strong vanilla vibes, but they were vanilla with some extra like stank on it, in a good way, like just some extra like.
I believe that was his description, not mine.
I'm not sure I said that in the review, but
I think you did.
But I'm getting that same sort of style of vanilla that we were picking out of that. Now, This doesn't taste anything like that
flavored,
whiskey.
It's just
at all. But
the oak notes.
The kind of vanilla that I'm getting off of this is when we were surprised at the vanilla we were getting off of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I did kind of spoil the surprise that we do have a bottle over here that's a single barrel.
Sure. I mean, we can certainly bring it in. You know what? The one thing that I'm totally shocked on with this, it doesn't have, and I don't say this is a negative, but it doesn't have a really prominent like mouthfeel, density, viscosity, however you want to describe that.
It doesn't have a prominent one, but it's not lacking anything.
Yeah, it's not absolutely watery, but it's still, the flavors hit.
Yeah, for sure. So this is the Wright County Whiskey Club single barrel Drambo. This one is 118.48 proof. Mm-hmm. So, and this is the Leo, it's SBF2. I'm not really sure what that means. There's some information here. This one just says distilled by MGP. So, mash bill, 75% corn, 21% rye, 4% malted barley. There's the little Drambo logo.
So that is a very traditional
awesome.
MGP mash bill.
Yeah. Well, they've got a bunch, you know.
They do, but that's a common one that a lot of MGP products sport the 75-21.
So this will be an interesting comparison because they're, relatively speaking, very close in proof.
Similar in proof.
Yeah.
Similar in price. This one is obviously a single barrel, store pick-ish, club pick.
And they are a little different.
Ooh, coffee. That was that one. Apricot. Coffee and apricot.
There's a note I have been getting off of...
Sitting in a tree.
There's a note that I've been getting off of bourbons lately when I've been tasting them.
Is it bourbon?
It's that, bourbon notes. Even just like sitting around the house having a casual pour, I'll still sit and try to pick them apart, a little bit. Mm-hmm. Even if it's something basic that I've had a million times, Evan Williams single barrel, I'll still sit there and nose it before every sip and just to have fun with it. And there's a note that I've been picking up lately on most bourbons that I'm having. And so I think it's kind of a regular standard bourbon note that I'm just starting to kind of
We're waiting.
notice. The problem is I can't describe. I don't know what it is.
You just told a joke without a punchline.
Disappointed!
I know. I'm the worst.
Storyteller score 0.
Well, I think what I'm going to have to do is just spend some time drinking
getting
bourbon
coffee.
for you, the audience,
I think so.
to figure out what that note is.
Yep,
There is a difference between these two for sure.
there is. I'm getting a
Oh, tobacco.
I get coffee and minerally, not in a negative way. Don't go to
Off of this one?
yeah, I'm on the Drambo.
I'm getting, and I didn't get this when we first tasted this when we had Tim on the show, but I'm getting a strong, great like pipe tobacco note
Wow.
on the nose.
I'm gonna
I
do
love it.
another sip of the.
And when I go back to the original one, I'm getting more high Rive Up vibes. So, okay, one more sip of the original.
Yep. So that was the kind of the traditional, just Stellum. Now I'm gonna get into the Wright County
some
Whiskey
water
Club store
between
pick.
these. Okay.
Leather and fig. This is much more earthy. Almost
It is much more earthy.
graham crackery. I'm not sure that's
Crackery.
graham crackery is a good adjective, but
Yeah, the store pick, these are both great.
yeah.
I love both of these. Absolutely.
The unfortunate thing is, I genuinely think Stellum is awesome,
That's the unfortunate thing.
and I'm gonna have to get more of them. In the same way that when we did the barrel picks or the barrel bourbon bottles, we both really liked them, but they're kind of expensive, so it's not like we can do 4 a month of them.
You might be right. There might be a little bit of apricot on this one.
It's something
On
like that.
the regular
It's something
Stellum.
like that. Much more viscosity, density,
Yeah.
oily.
The store pick,
it-
or not store pick, the private barrel pick from the Wright County Whiskey Club, definitely better.
Definitely more like maybe I could see this one being picked. And well, I saw it being picked because I know who picked it. But
Both of them excellent, close in proof. I think that having the single barrel really kind of shows what a single barrel can do.
yes.
And that's a great kind of like experiment in bourbon. Always for science here at the Bourbon Note. So the regular Stellum is great. $60, definitely great. Or 50 or whatever it is. 50, I think it is.
It may have been 56 plus.
I know we got a
tax.
deal on the Wright County Whiskey
Yeah,
Club one
those
because
are
they were
special.
Yeah, they were selling those for $50
Now I'm doing
if you did the pre-order or whatever it
We
was.
say it's unthinkable, but we do it every time. So I mean, everybody knew it was coming.
It's just become our thing now. Like we have to do it. I've even seen a couple people comment like, "Okay, where's the blend?"
Yeah.
If we haven't done it in the past. So I mean, every time we do more than one whiskey, if we're comparing Pappy to Jim Beam White
Benchmark.
Label or Benchmark, yeah, we're gonna blend them.
All right,
It's
you just
what
made
we
Buffalo
do.
Trace.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a happy medium. Oh, that's great.
230 proof, about $120.
Yeah.
And if
But that note is
Stellum
there that I
needs
can't-
some marketing assistance, we are available.
It's kind of like a pastry note, but there's almost like some.
There's still that fruit, that orange fruit.
I was literally gonna say it's like a pastry note, but there's some sort of a weird fruit note behind
I
it.
have to ask a question. And there's a friend of ours. We went over to her house, and it was actually for like Christmas, so it's been a month.
We did?
We, not you, but
I was gonna say, did I completely have a blackout that
my
night? I don't remember
family went
this.
over to her family's house, and they make something. Basically, it was essentially a cinnamon roll, but it has orange frosting on it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of those? Most people haven't heard of them, and
No.
it's very, let's say, controversial.
That kind of fits into what I'm getting. There's a
But
weird
that's
fruit note and a
exactly-
sweetness, and I can't.
Yeah.
It's like a pastry. I'm sorry, I jumped in there, but you kind of hit
that's-
the nail on the head. Like that's what I'm looking
It's
at.
a little
like,
bit of like orange and cinnamon and like
Yeah.
powdered sugar.
vanilla. Maybe it's not just one flavor I'm trying to pick out. It's just an amalgamation of. Is that the right word? Amalgamation?
Yes. No.
I think
yes.
so. Full disclosure, we've reviewed a couple bourbons today.
Couple, but
But yeah, maybe it's. I'm trying to pick one flavor out, and maybe it's just that it's not one flavor. It's a whole bunch of stuff, and it can't be described as one flavor. You know?
you never know.
Well, I would say, in closing, the regular one, excellent. The store pick, especially excellent.
They're
Both of
single
them.
barrels. And
Awesome.
definitely feel free to experiment with the single barrels. But the basic one is, I was very impressed, and I'm still very impressed.
Yep. At this point, I don't know if there's any of these left, the single barrels.
Not that particular barrel, but
It's Thomas Liquors and the Wright County Whiskey Club. You can find the Wright County Whiskey Club on Facebook. You could send a message saying, hey, is there any of these left? And they could maybe direct you to Thomas Liquors and see if there's any on the shelf or any in the back or whatever.
Totally.
So, but anyway, this has been, for the most part, the regular Stellum offering with a little guest spot by the Wright County Whiskey Club store pick.
Yeah.
On the Bourbon Note, I'm Ben.
I'm Greg. Till next time. See you next time.